field to play for us.
Oh, sorry?
Yeah.
Oh, this is it, for real.
This
Okay.
is it.
All right. This is so this is a song I got off of a prompt. It was a picture of a carousel with a city backdrop, and I thought it was very interesting. I looked it up. It turns out it was a carousel in Central Park, and I realized, I came to learn that there's a crew of people. There's about 12 people who are employed full time to simply repair and restore one horse or carriage or whatever on this carousel. That's their job. And I thought it was really funny that in the city like New York that changes all the time, there's this crew of people to keep something exactly the same, a carousel of all things. So this is called Carousel. When I learned that the original carousel, which is kind of insulting, was powered by a horse and a mule beneath the carousel. Isn't that horrible? A tap on the floor would make it go. The horse and the mule were hidden below. The fashionable ladies all out with their bow. In 1871, the next two carousels were powered by steam, with a couple of fires in between. This is the fourth one to be seen, circling the sun. 57 horses running strong. 57 horses. How do I sing this? 57 horses running strong in a world where horses don't belong. I remember one, because I sing it with a capo usually, which is in the other room. 57 horses running strong in a world where horses don't belong. Giving rides to perfect strangers, they stay the same while the world changes. Sorry about that. The capo, without a capo, it's totally different. Coney Island, built last century, in an abandoned trolley warehouse where nobody could see. So they brought it up to Central Park, set those horses free, stand and spin another century. 57 horses running strong in a world where horses don't belong. Giving rides to perfect strangers, they stay the same while the whole world changes. And the pipe play out a real tune on a lazy Sunday afternoon. Stay the same when the whole world changes. You wouldn't think a little thing like a capo would make that much of a difference. This is a funny aside. I did some research on the music that was playing on the carousel, because I thought if I record this, wouldn't it be cool to have like a little calliope sound in the background? And I listened to the music of the carousel on Central Park, and it turns out it was playing a Neil Diamond song.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. The colors fly by in a whirl world like the days, like my life in so many ways. Can't go back again, that's what the horses say. Nothing stays the same for you. 57 horses running strong in a world where horses don't belong. Giving rides to perfect strangers, they stay the same, all the world changes. Oh, thank you. That's fun.
That's our Andrew Dunn,
Oh, thank you.
newly married. With beloved Angela. So I asked her to bring her, because I'm not sure if she exists. No, I'm just kidding. I've seen some lovely pictures of their wedding. She was all in red.
It was gorgeous. Yep.
So what I love about that song is very much what we teach. I can always find the Science of Mind teaching in just about every song, whether it's there or not, right?
Right.
Which is this whole idea that at the center, where the horses were going around, there's that constant. There's always movement happening wherever we're doing, wherever we're going, whatever is going on in our lives. But at the center, there is a stillness. And when we hang out there, we begin to feel our connection with the divine. And from that place, everything changes again. So welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. For those of you that are online, we're so glad you're with us and that it works.
Yes.
And thanks to Andrew again. And that we are online now, but that there is a future where it will probably exist forever. And we are also glad to be together in person, because there's nothing like the energy of human beings, right? So thank you for being here. If you're here for the first time, we have a cool bookshelf in the back, and you can pick a book to take with you as a gift from us. It's January 2025, and we have a new theme. It's rising higher, going deeper. So we're going to explore that all year. And the theme for January is stretch into possibility. And we're going to do that today. So I'm very happy that Susan Neat is with us. She's a licensed practitioner in Princeton, and she will bring, as she always does, a lovely little guided meditation. And we're very happy that we have social hour today because of Christy. Thank you, Christy. And thank you to all the volunteers that are always so generous with their time and their energy and their love. So let's start with our Namaste practices, where we get to greet one another. As most of you know by now, Namaste is just a Sanskrit word that means the divinity in me sees, knows, and blesses the divinity in you. And what I always tell you is, remember, you're not just giving, you're also receiving. So notice how the receiving feels as well as the giving. So put your hands together and say, Namaste. And let's do an opening treatment, our word for affirmative prayer. So you're invited to close your eyes, which is just a way to move from the outer to the inner. And here let us know that there is an infinite presence that is difficult to understand because it's infinite. And so we know that this infinite presence is pure love, pure grace, pure light, pure wisdom, pure joy, and everything else we can conjure up. And it is also called the Creator, and we are on the receiving end of this Creator, this creation, with everything already infused and available for us to live. And so we've been given this life to live that connection more and more deeply, knowing that it never fully gets done, because that's what infinite means. And so we relax today, trusting and knowing that we have the tools, that we have the sense, that we have the mindset, that we have the emotional intelligence, that we have the spiritual fortitude to embrace more and more of our divinity and find ways to express it, which I know, and we all know, is a unique experience for each and every one of us, because each of us are spirit individualized in a unique way. And so there's nothing but celebration. And that's what we discovered today, that there's nothing but celebration, so that we can look at ourselves and at life with awe and wonder, with curiosity, and begin to discover more of this presence in, through, as, for, and around us. And for that, we can only be infinitely grateful. And so it is.
And so it is.
So, just about every year in January, on Sundays, I do what? Who remembers?
First part of the book.
The first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind textbook. And why do we do that?
To come back to basics.
To come back to basics. And all of you have read and studied and memorized the entire Science of Mind textbook from beginning to end. So I might be preaching 3 times. I might be preaching to the choir. I have a little treasure of a book that I don't even know if we can still get it, but I do know that there is a website called the Science of Mind Archives, of which I'm a member. It's my favorite membership because there's lots of cool stuff, and you can purchase it on there as a PDF. But this is a little book that has the first 4 chapters. This looks like it's my second one, but it isn't, because a few I threw away. This is so beat up and kind of falling apart that this is my newer one that I'm not allowed to do a lot with. Because it's a treasure. This is a treasure. If some of you have a hard time reading or a hard time studying, or you don't want to take classes, this is all you need. The first 4 chapters in the Science of Mind textbook says it all. What we're about, what we do, what the teaching is about. And so for some of you, that's all you need to study, which is what I've been doing for 40-some years, over and over and over and over and over again. So Ernest Holmes wrote over 100 books. You don't need to read those 100 books. You can. But as Ernest Holmes says, that the theory is not as powerful as the practice. We're not here to just study the teaching, but we're here to practice it. We're here to prove it, because if we can't prove it, it means nothing. Well, maybe it's entertainment, as I always say. So the first 4 chapters are the thing itself.
How it works.
The second chapter is the way it works, and then what it does, and then how to use it. I'm breaking it down today into the 4 chapters. So instead of doing 1 chapter per Sunday, I'm doing all 4 chapters today, which has been really fun to work on all week and say, how can I wrap it into a 20-25 minute talk? So my talk might be a little longer, but maybe not. And if you listen again to any of my talks in these 32 years, let this be the one. Let this be the one. So, listen up, because it may be my best talk in my 40 years. I don't know. I'm not sure. So the way that we're going to personalize it is, if you think of the chapter, the thing itself. No, I'm going to back up a little bit. First thing I want to tell you, especially for those of you that are new, is that Ernest Holmes calls the science of mind the science of spiritual psychology. That's freaking brilliant. Because there's the word science, there's the word psychology, and there's the word spirituality, which is really what the science of mind is wrapped in one. I feel more and more and more each day how brilliant Ernest Holmes was. He studied all the world religions, going back to ancient times, and put it into a very practical teaching called the science of mind. There's nothing new in the science of mind. Yes, it falls under the teachings of New Thought, but none of it is new. It's all ancient wisdom, but it's put into a very contemporary language, contemporary way, and some of you might say contemporary my nose. If that's true for you, there are 2 books I recommend you have and you study for the rest of your life. This thing called You and this thing called Life. I don't know anyone who reads that book that says, I don't understand, because he makes it so understandable and so relatable. But it's a very contemporary teaching, which to me is common sense. I was raised in a country and a culture where common sense was the first and most important thing. It's a little different in this culture, in this country, I think, right? And so it's a very common sense kind of teaching. If we're making it difficult, it's because we're trying to understand it intellectually and just mentally. The whole idea is that you have to feel it. You have to feel it. And so the way that I am personalizing it today is because it's all about self-discovery, it's all about inquiry, and then it's about practicing it. That's why many of us, when we first start to take classes, are invited to treat for a parking space at your local grocery store. And then you go, it worked! Or maybe you treat for abundance and you find a dime on the floor. There's a reason it's a dime and not $1 million. I'm going to get back to that. Right? So these little things we begin to practice and we begin to prove. And so the personalization then is the first chapter, the thing itself is I am. I am is really the true name of the universe, of God, of Spirit. You can find that in every scripture. The second chapter, the way it works, is I believe. And I'm going to get deeper into each one. The third one, what it does is I do. And the fourth one, how to use it, is I have, which is how I do this teaching shows up in what I have as a being in my life. And so the thing itself, what a freaking brilliant name for God. Nobody can say, I don't like that word. I don't like the word God because it triggers my past. Just like that. Right? Yeah, I've been there, so I know. The only reason I know is because I've been there. I'm not using the word God. I don't like that word. Make peace with it. Fast. Because it's who you are. How you describe the thing itself is who you are. So if you have resistance to the word that you're using for God, that's who you are. That's how your life is. That's what shows up in your life. So what are some of your favorite words to describe God?
The source. Love.
The source. Love. Creator. Spirit.
The universe. Joy.
The universe.
Joy.
Joy.
All that is.
All that is.
Peace.
Peace. Now, that's important. That you have your own language to describe spirit, the universe. You can call it anything you want to. It doesn't care. But what you call it is who and what you are and who and what you are becoming. And so the thing itself is so brilliant because it's so neutral. I've never met anybody in my 67 year, well, I've only been in this teaching for 40 years, never had anybody say the thing itself, I don't like that word. Because it's so neutral, right? And so it's the I am. Now what we learn in the this first chapter is that there is the universe, God, this thing, love, peace, spirit, the universe. There's that. And then it does something. What does it do?
Creates.
It creates. It expresses. It moves. It's an experience, and it becomes personal. It becomes individual through that which it creates. That's why we say spirit is in this stool, spirit is in this rug, spirit is in my hands, spirit is in your body, spirit is in your heart, spirit is in your soul, spirit is in your mind, spirit is in your heart. Then we say, how does that feel? And that's where many of us feel a disconnect. Because if you say God is peace and you're not feeling peace, there's a disconnect. If you say God is love and you don't feel love, there's a disconnect. And the disconnect is not out here. It's not in somebody else or some experience or something or somewhere or time. It's inside of us. The disconnect is inside of us. So another word for the universe is the infinite. The infinite becomes finite by means of creation, by means of its expression. So we can look at a beautiful sunrise or a beautiful sunset and say, hallelujah, that's God, I can feel it. Or we can look at the news and see the horrible scenes in California with the fires and go, well, that's not God. That's where our work is. To say, how can I practice self-discovery, practice inquiry, and practice the principles so I can see more of the presence of spirit, the universe, the thing itself. That requires that we sit in silence, which most people don't like, because there's too much going on Facebook, or on YouTube, or in your emails, or at work, or in your families, or in your homes, just trying to get through the day or to survive, right? And so it requires that we get still until we begin to see, oh yes, the universal or the universe becomes the individual, or the universal becomes individualized by means of creation. So I get to see this happening wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, however I'm doing it, and I get to own it. And then I have something to work with. That gives me possibilities. The good news is that the finite is becoming infinite forever, because it can never be arrived at full infinitude. And so we can kind of chill and say, oh, it doesn't have to be perfect. I can just keep practicing and keep seeing and keep inquiring and keep questioning. So is there an end to our expression as spiritual beings?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Then could it be that the most difficult thing you're experiencing right now is happening for you and not against you? Because if we believe it's working against us, it means that we feel separate from this thing itself that we call love, peace, universe, spirit, whatever we call it, right? The all that is. And so that's where our work happens. Because the second chapter, the way it works, it explains how the creative process works. It explains how the universal becomes individual or individualized. I like to say individualizing because it's an ongoing process. And it allows us to embody more of that. So when you say, I believe that Spirit, God, the universe is love, it behooves us to sit for a moment. Let's do that together. Anybody have anything against calling the universe and calling God love? Good. I didn't think so. So close your eyes. Take a breath. and allow yourself to feel the presence of God or the universe or whatever you call it. Allow it to be universal, infinite, divine love in you. That's who you are. That's what you are. And hear yourself say, I am love. I am that love. And now open your eyes. What you think in that moment and how you feel in that moment reveals where you feel separate from the universe, from God, from Spirit. Because there's something inside of us that says, well, not quite. Not yet. Not here. Not over there. Maybe some of you are like, that's never going to be my feeling. That's never going to happen to me. That's important information. We can either resist that and stay stuck in separation, or we can say, let me find some ways to feel that more deeply, more powerfully, in a more real way, as a way for me to prove that's what I believe Spirit is. And so the way it works, the way God works, the way love works, the way peace works, the way the universe works, is through us. And the way it works is by means of our mind, our consciousness. And the way it works is by means of what we believe. The master teacher, Jesus, said the most powerful thing ever, which is the essence of our teaching, when he said, it is done unto you as you believe. Not as you wish. Not as you would like. Not as you want. As you believe. Now we know in our teaching that some of our beliefs are very conscious, but much of our beliefs is not. That's a whole other talk about how the mind works, what the mind is. But it's important for us to really say, if I don't have the love in my world or in my body or in my life that I really want, that's really the truth of my being, then what is it that I believe? Begin to explore these beliefs of peace and love and creation and all that is and spirit. Begin to explore those things. Have the courage to say, I really don't believe in God at all. I don't believe that the God is loving, because why would God then create this or that? That's really important information for us to kind of wrap our mind around and explore and work with and discover and understand. Because as we do, our consciousness expands. It's where we're not willing to explore our beliefs that we will stay stuck. And where we are stuck, it shows up in our lives, because as within, so without. That's how the universal law works. Universal law is the way the thing itself works, which is through creation, through each and every one of us. Our personal law, with a small l, is our belief system. And the teaching of the science of mind is all about that what we experience is the result of our beliefs. And most of us, and most of the time, that freaks us out. It's very uncomfortable. I have to say that I've arrived at a place where I unconditionally love myself. You might go, what? That's weird. Well, most of my life, I hated myself. Not, I hate myself. No, very subtle, very quiet. Very, just very, what's the word? Invasive or sneaky or covert. And because I've been doing this work, I've noticed it. I've noticed where I have that feeling towards my body, or towards my relationships, or towards my past, or towards my faith, or towards money and abundance, or towards health. And you all do too, because we're all so much more alike than different. So look at the areas in your life where you're complaining, where you're not quite settled in or happy, where you don't fully love your body temple, which is the temple that houses your spirit, where you struggle with finances, where you judge yourself or other people, where you don't quite know what to do in the world. Those are all fantastic, because they are the areas in your life where you get to embrace more of your divinity and release any sense of separation. But most of the time, our human nature, our ego nature says, I'm going to fight that till the end. I'm going to judge that till the end. I'm going to hate it. I don't like it. Which is don't like is similar to hate, right? So begin to pay attention to those things, because they're all so juicy. And so the whole idea is that you want to understand the basic idea of what the teaching is. Look at this little thing over there in the window, that stained glass thing. Kathy Gregoire made that for me. That's the Science of Mind symbol. Tattoo that on your skin. If you don't like tattoos, I don't have tattoos, tattoo it on your heart. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Because that says everything. The circle represents the universe. It really has no boundaries. The 3 lines represents the 3 ways that the universe creates. Spirit, which is truth at the top. The middle is law, or the way. And so the top then is the thing itself, right? The middle is the way it works, is the law, is your spirit, your soul. Spirit, soul. Spirit is the universal. Soul is the individual. And the bottom is the manifestation, the demonstration, the outcome, the form, the physical body. Most of the time, the way people understand it is when you put a seed in the soil, think of the seed as the top, what happens?
Grows.
It grows, right? And tomato seeds grow cucumbers, right? Isn't it interesting that we immediately go, nah? But when it comes to consciousness and this teaching, we go, what? Because we're so stuck in the theory, we're not willing to be in the practice. If you have any sense of lack or limitation you're carrying around, that's a seed. It's planted in the soil, which is the law, which is your belief system, and it demonstrates as lack. So I am always so surprised that people are experiencing lack and they want to demonstrate abundance, but they're not willing to change their belief system. They're not willing to look inside. I know why. Because I've been there. It's uncomfortable. And it's really scary. And there's a feeling like it will probably never change. And so that's, again, a very rich something to work with, right? And so now what it does. And what was the word for what it does?
Create.
How do we personalize it? I do. I do, right? So it's that which I do. So now we know that the universe is known by many names. I heard about 10. If you look at the Science of Mind textbook, in the first few chapters, there's about 26 names. So if you're still saying, I don't know what to call it, then look in the textbook, pick one. As I've said many times before, I had a colleague that called God Big Sweetie in the sky because it caused her to feel something. You want to feel something when you say or think that word. You want to feel the presence, the meaning. You want to allow it to just fill your body, your mind, your heart, and soul, and then go, I think I'm having an orgasm. Mental, emotional, spiritual, maybe physical. That could happen. So what we know that the universe does, who knows what the universe does? What does spirit do? What does God do?
Everything.
Everything. It creates. In this chapter, it says, spirit gives. Now I know it doesn't give to you, and it gives to you because, just because you have curls and gray hair coming out of your head. We believe that. We believe that God favors some people more than others. Some religions teach that, but not here. We believe that spirit is the infinite, unconditional givingness of life. Who's on the receiving end of that?
Everybody.
Everybody. And everything.
Anything that grows.
Everywhere. All the time. Explore your belief about that. Because we all have beliefs, whether it's conscious or not, that it doesn't happen in some places. California fires, war places, or some people, let's not name them, or somewhere, some things. That has to be dissolved, because as long as we hold that consciously or unconsciously, it's a block. So we have our work cut out for us, don't we? The cool thing is to just relax and surrender, because there doesn't have to be a fight, it doesn't have to be stressed, or doesn't have to be a push. There's no time limit. Because even if you're dying, your physical body dies, your soul lives on forever, so you'll get to work that one out. But I'm going to come back to the how to use it. Because the whole idea is to notice where we are receiving this divine givingness and where we aren't. Some areas, it's so easy we don't even think about it. But some areas, our hearts are broken and we feel like we can't. Or, which just means we won't. Or, it's not possible because we have all these reasons of why not. We have plenty of excuses. Again, whether we're aware of it or not, right? So this whole divine givingness is based on what we believe about the divine givingness. And so there's this wonderful thing that I think Michael Beckwith developed about the 4 levels of consciousness that we learn about in visioning. That's kind of the progression that we make in our spiritual evolution, but it's also zigzaggy, because it's not clean and perfect from this to this to this to this. Sometimes it's depending on what's going on in your life. So the first level of consciousness is where we believe we're victims, where we believe that life is being done to me. It's happening to me. It happened to me. A past issue, a past relationship, or whatever it may be. And it's not always conscious, because most of us don't go around and say, I'm just going to be a victim in life. Yeah. But it's often an unconscious thing, so we get to kind of think about that and explore that. How and when and where and by whom have I felt something was done to me? We very much live in a culture where that is on the forefront. Just look at Facebook and see people having opinions and blaming, and social media and the news. It's all about, let's point some fingers, right? It's worse than ever. So the world is a wonderful earth school to live and practice these teachings, if that's where your attention is. I try to watch less news, as little news as I can. But I know it's a place to practice, because I get to see what I think and what I believe, and then I get to work with that. So the next level is by me, where we begin to use the teaching and we say, oh, maybe I'm responsible for some of my experiences, which means that I can do something about it. I can make choices. I can take a class. I can go to a practitioner. So by me means I'm taking a deeper responsibility. The third level is through me. And through me is the area where we say, I got it. I'm just going to chill. I'm going to just open. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to trust. I'm going to allow life to happen, and I'm going to use it as a way to develop my consciousness. And the fourth is as me, where we are living in the oneness of all life, and there's no sense of separation. And so there might be days where you're in the ASME. And then maybe the next day, somebody hits your car and you're in the TUMI, right? So there's that movement. And we want to notice that and pay attention to that because it helps us to see what is ours to do. So one of the things that I'm very aware of is that all of us have had our challenges. Well, maybe not. Anybody here that's never had a challenge at all? And isn't it interesting that when we have a challenge or a problem, we beat up on ourselves? By the way, that's self-hate. Or we get all anxious and worried. I do. Or we start projecting, or we start judging. You know, we do these really interesting things when we're struggling, when we're challenged, when we're suffering. First of all, it says, I feel disconnected from my source. I feel disconnected from the God I believe in. That's all we have to do in that moment, just sit in that. Because there comes a moment where we go, I forgot that I'm a divine being, that spirit in me, as me, is me, through me. So there's this wonderful quote by Martin Luther King in his Science of Mind magazine. By the way, they're in. Oh,
Yeah.
the new magazines are in. And it says this. Oh, wait. Yes, Martin Luther King. The ultimate measure of a human being is not where they stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where they stand at times of challenge and controversy. Darn it. Whoa, did I wish for a long time that wasn't true. So, but I want to read this paragraph because it's so fabulous. It's by Kathy Jolene, and the article is called Burning Bright. It's about when we fall apart. I have fallen apart a dozen times, maybe more. Anybody else ever fallen apart? Yeah, maybe that's God ordained. Be willing to consider that, because when we do, we don't fight it. So it says this: falling apart is essential to a subsequent falling together, as suggested by philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche's cogent aphorism, one must have chaos in oneself in order to give birth to a dancing star. One must have chaos in oneself in order to give birth to a dancing star. In so saying, he acknowledges the notion that a new creation has its origin in difficulty, challenge, or destruction, and that an experience of chaos actually opens up the possibility of change. During times of tumult, when the old is passing away, there arises the opportunity for a new form to come into being, for something fresh and novel to emerge. With the disintegration of a former circumstance, you are freed to give new direction to the creative fire within you. Then the creative power within you, unleashed and revitalized, begins to work through your thoughts to produce a new and higher expression. An experience of chaos prepares the way for a dancing star to be born. And so, how do we use it? Which is the I have. The cool thing is that we have lots of tools. The 5 main tools. Number 1,
Spiritual mind treatment.
spiritual mind treatment. Our word for prayer. If you don't know how to treat for yourself, come to me. I'll teach you in 5 minutes or less. Or go to Lori or Susan or anyone else who is taking classes. Or just pray from your heart. Second practice.
Meditation.
Meditation. I believe that is a vital practice to our spiritual evolution. I'm also very aware that many people say they can't, which means they won't. Find a way that works for you and just do that. Start with 2 minutes and find the increase. Number 3, there's no particular order, by the way.
Visioning.
Visioning. Visioning is a way where we visualize and we meditate at the same time. That's a practice you can also learn. I'm happy to lead you to the right practice. Everybody can do it. I do it for every talk, every workshop. It's a cool practice. Number 4,
Affirmations.
affirmations. Number 5,
Visualize.
anybody not know what affirmations are? I am. Speak a truth, right? And the last one,
Visualization.
visualization. Yeah, some of you are more visual than others, so it may not work for everybody, but pick one and just do it over and over and over again. Those are the 5 main practices that we do. And so what we do is we say, okay, here's the teaching. Nice theory. I've read all the 100 books. I'm good. But then there's proving it by our own practice, little by little by little. Use the first 4 chapters. They're the simplest way to do that. Simplicity is key because the ego mind loves to make it difficult because it does not want you to grow. It wants you to stay the same. It thrives on fear and suffering and stuckness. But your spirit, your soul says, bring it on, all of it, because all of it is about my divinity and my evolution. All of it is for me and nothing is against me. And that's what we experience in life, is that dance between the ego self and the soul, which experiences that, this ego experiences that sense of separation, soul doesn't. So what they say in Zen they say beginner's mind is key. There's a reason why after 40 years, I go back to the first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind textbook, because I don't know them yet. I haven't proven them 100% yet. I don't fully believe what's in there quite yet. And some of it is not conscious. I mean, I don't walk around saying, I think I'm just going to be broke, or not have any love in my life, or be sick. By the way, how many of you, I know my talk is longer today, but how many of you like this show, watch this TV show, The Irrational?
Oh, yeah.
It's a great show. I think it's NBC, right?
I don't
The
remember.
Irrational. It's a very cool show. Check it out. The Irrational. So the priest that came to visit the main character the other day said to the character who was in the hospital, he said, do you know Saint Illness? And he said, no, I don't know Saint Illness. He's kind of atheist. I said, what is Saint Illness? He says, take out the saint and just spell it as one word. What does it spell?
Stillness.
Stillness. So he talked about using stillness as a way to relax, to surrender, to trust, to have a different experience. Isn't that cool? I wrote it down. I take notes when I watch TV. So the simplest way to how to use it is to just listen. Listen to your heart. Get curious. Be in awe that you are an individualized expression of the one. Last week I talked about how we are miracles. And just know that the opposite of that is what?
Separation.
Separation. But what? The opposite of being in awe and curious and in wonder. Fear is fear. It's just the opposite. It's the invitation to come back to wonder and to awe. And then relax. Just relax. We are so freaking imperfect that we will never be perfect. It's okay. What does that mean anyway? I don't know. And so the idea of just relaxing, what's the opposite of not being relaxed? Tense, stress. What does that do? Makes you feel separate from your individuality. So it's noticing the resistance and keep surrendering that resistance. And then you keep learning and discovering and growing and you keep practicing. You know, I don't know if any of you, the first time you sat behind the wheel in the car, you were a good driver. I wasn't. It took a lot of practice. But now I have to be careful because sometimes I arrive here and I go, did I just drive 50 minutes? Because my mind wanders, right? So we practice. Practice in our teaching is doing the mental work, doing the inner work. And if that's difficult for you, take a class, work with a practitioner. We are all practitioners. Some people are licensed. Susan, Lori, Gail, right? So we want to either work with a practitioner or just practice the teaching. Then it's to think about the intentions that you have for yourself. Maybe you think of the scrolls that we did, your intention for the year. Don't do resolutions because they're just shoulds. They're just a way to hate yourself even more. So scrolls is intentions, having an intention for yourself, realizing that the moment you set the intention, what's in the way may reveal itself, and that becomes your inner work. That becomes the letting go. That becomes the setting yourself free, because that's the truth. We're already free. We just don't believe it, so we practice our setting ourselves free. And then we model that. So your intention that you had for the year, the things that you wrote on the scroll, is not just, well, I'm waiting for it to show up. You model it, and it's in modeling it that becomes a part of our very being. That's called healing. In our teaching, healing is not curing. Healing is what? Who remembers what our definition of healing is?
Revealing.
Revealing.
Wholeness.
Wholeness, revealing our inherent wholeness. Healing means revealing our inherent wholeness, which may not mean that you're cured. It just means that you have a greater sense of the oneness of all life. And then what it all comes down to in our teaching is two things. It all comes down to two things: love and law. Love is the divine givingness, and it's infinite. And law is how that manifests, how that demonstrates, how that shows up, how we prove that. And it's always happening. It's always happening, and we get to choose it over and over and over and over again. And then to deeply experience who we are, what we're doing, what we have, what we get to experience. So, repeat after me. I am.
I am.
I believe.
I believe.
I do.
I do.
I have.
I have.
So I'm going to break it up now. You're not going to say anything after I am, I do, I have, but think it. Okay? So it's I am. Get quiet. So I'm going to kind of say what comes out in my mind. I am spirit. I am love. I am divine presence. I am grace. I am peace, I am harmony. So let those words come. I am, quietly. And now, I believe. I believe in wholeness, I believe in abundance, I believe in creativity, I believe in peace, I believe in harmony. And now, I do. I do my meditation, I do my spiritual mind treatment, I do my practices. And now I have peace, I have abundance, I have grace, I have joy.
Wonderful that your message is reaching deeper and reaching higher. My necklace, when I divorced, I had a tree of light that was just the tree, and I lost it. And then I went to replace it, and I had my girls buy me this one, which has the roots and the tree, because I realized I had to figure out who I was again because I hadn't been single since high school, and now I had children. And it's like, whoa. So, this is a song called Roots Push Deeper. Roots push deeper, reaching for the water. Come from the eyes of Mother Nature's daughter. Helping to find me and keep me standing tall. New growth bursting out in spring, replace the branches lost last fall. After the winter of my days, these are desperate for the rains, leaving space for close inspection, seeking warmth in all directions, decide what to keep and what to cut away. I am a tree, I'm growing higher, roots push deeper, so I reach wider, and who knows how long I've left in me to grow. My roots push deeper, deep beneath the snow. And so you ask me about this pendant on my chest. These roots and branches define my life best. When my life ended, yeah, I had to let it go. My roots push deeper, allowing me to grow. After the winter of my days, my leaves are desperate for the rains, seeking warmth in all directions, leaving space for close inspection, decide what to keep and what to cut away. I am a tree, I'm growing higher, roots push deeper, so I reach wider. Who knows how long I've left in me to grow. My roots push deeper, deep beneath the snow. I am a tree, I'm growing higher. My roots push deeper, so I reach wider. Who knows how long I've left in me to grow. My roots push deeper, deep beneath the snow. My roots push deeper, deep beneath the snow. My roots push deeper, deep beneath the snow.
Well, you know, part of the lyrics in the song were about sort of what we do. We die daily, we release, and then we make room for newness. But back to my gray hair, I was thinking about this. My husband noticed it. Have you ever noticed those shiny balls that some people put? Raise your hand if you have one before I say anything. Okay. Anyway, they're very unique. And we used to make jokes about them in our neighborhood. We'd call them the gazing globes. And then people would say, why would people have them? Well, so that the spirit knew where we were and it would attract the good. So then my husband said, well, it's like your gray, sweetheart.
Yes, beautiful.
Your gray is like a landing strip for God. That's what he gets for coming to the center with me a few times. Anyway, so we are all landing strips, right? Whether you have gray hair or not. So I have the great privilege after Reverend Frankie texts me with sort of what we're doing today, and I have the great privilege of sort of connecting and seeing what comes. And of course she did it all, so I could actually sit down right now, but I won't. Because there's one thing we have to get when we talk about that V. You know, it's open at the top, right? It's infinite. So does anybody here question infinite? Are we limited or limitless? Limitless. Say it again. We're limitless. We are limitless. And so we learn the principles, but the bottom line is the practices. So I'm going to share with you a practice. Some of you might know it. It's one of Ernest Holmes' amazing practices. But I wanted to just read some yummy, juicy quotes about this practice. This was in Science of Mind magazine, November. To move from one level of good to another, unlimited, is to heal. We reveal. We move from one level to another. To remember, to reconnect, to expand our realization of good. So you heard that word, limitless, expand. I'm going somewhere with this. Emma Curtis Hopkins writes, this is really important. If our faith were small, which, let's face it, is there anybody here that has small faith sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay. And we should keep talking, keep thinking, keep writing ideas, absolutely true, the truth that we know, but we forget. Our faith in those words which lie hidden in our nature. It's our nature. We are impelled to be here to learn and to grow. They would finally come forward. That is why we practice. Because I remember in our practitioner training, and I would come in and I would tell Reverend Karen, I did my treatment, I didn't feel a thing. I don't know, did anybody ever treat? And, well, the object is you treat until you get it. I mean, that's the object. But I just remember thinking, sometimes I don't feel like I get it, but the truth is, the words are in the law. And so Emma's completely right. You just keep at it, you keep at it, you keep at it. It's our basic nature. Love is expressing through us. In Science of Mind, chapter 4, in both directions, because the circle is really just an idea, but it's really everywhere. We reach out to infinity, and since we cannot even encompass infinity, we shall always be expanding and always enlarging our capacity to know and to experience. That's why we're here. We are impelled to grow. It is our nature. And we have to help it along by practicing. So this practice, which takes 15 minutes, what I'm going to do in 3, but I just want you to get it, is in one of his books, I think Creative Mind and Success. And it goes like this. The basic idea is to hold fast to the realization that whatever we wish to expand is now done to us. Whatever we wish to expand is now done to us. So he suggests 15 minutes 2 times a day. And I will tell you that as part of my practitioner training, I was given this as homework, and I'm a good little girl, and I did my homework every day. Mm-hmm. And guess what? I expanded. You pick some way you wish to expand. Now, Reverend Frankie shared with me that you set intentions for 2025. Maybe some of you did, maybe some of you didn't. instead of the should, I should do this, I will do this, those New Year's resolution things. So we're gonna, if you have an intention, great. If not, think about a truth that you want more of when we do this exercise. And I'll kind of talk you through it, but the object is that you get more of it, you think more of it, you feel more of it, you grow into it, you see it, you visualize it, you affirm it, and watch it grow. Be open to watching it grow. Florence Shinn, The Game of Life and How to Play It. Great book, buy that book. So practical and easy to understand. And she says, act as if it's already happened. So we do that for 50 minutes twice a day. We're going to do it for 3 minutes today. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Let's find that quiet space. Take a nice deep breath. Close your eyes if that's available to you. And know that whatever comes up, we're perfectly safe being here. Love is present. Love is God. And here we are together, breathing the life that we are, that life that we call the infinite, the divine, the spirit, the thing itself. I just want you to get into this feeling that as you breathe, you're expanding. The breath expands within you. And as you breathe, you can expand outward even more and get into that space of feeling lighter. This incredible lightness of being. Our soul is free. It lives in this physical body that God can experience itself now, but it's free. We expand outward. And now think about your intention or what truth you want to know more of. And I'm going to say these words. You know them all. It's an Ernest Holmes quote. Good and more good is mine. Good and more good is mine. So whatever this intention is, whatever this you want more truth of is, good is mine. This good is mine. What does it feel like? What does it feel like? It is an ever-increasing good. It is mine. It's already here. See yourself. What does it look like to have that good? Can you picture yourself in a situation with that good? Think about that. See you being that good. Acting if that good is here right and in this moment, because it is. We're just releasing something, letting it show up. Let it show up right now. What does it feel like? Do you feel the joy, the bliss, the blessing that it is? Can you feel the gratitude for it? Let that gratitude expand. I have it. I am. I do. I have. Be with that havingness. There is no limit to this good and more. Wow. What does it mean? How does it feel to feel limitless? Take that breath and expand outward. I am limitless. Limitless. Infinite potential. Ever available right here and now. Everywhere I go, I see this good. Picture it. Everywhere I go, I feel this good. Act as if. What does your posture do like? What does it do when you feel that good? Do you feel elevated? Do you feel uplifted? Are you calm or can you relax into it? Are you joy-filled? Feel it. Feel that good. However it presents for you, it's perfect. Because you are expressing it. The divine is doing it to you, through you, as you, for you. It's all one. Everywhere I go, I experience this good. Yummy, yummy good. And just sit with that and smile at this good that you have. Act as if it's right here, right now. Yes, The law always says yes, it only says yes. It's limitless. It is unlimited. Just enjoy this for a moment, knowing this truth. It's done, it's here now. Act as if. Sit a little taller, smile a little broader, feel more content. Feel that love that is ever present. And now, just as you breathe, say thank you for this process, that you showed up for it and you did it. And wiggle and jiggle and find yourself back in this space. And when you are back, you can open your eyes when you are ready and just be present. And so, you were handed one of Ernest Holmes' very popular treatments, affirmative prayers, affirmations. And we are going to say it together. We're going to stand when we say it. Because there is research that says when you are standing, you are integrating. Here we go. Oh, by the way, we're going to say it as if it is
Already true.
Already true. Good and more good is mine, and ever increasing good is mine. There is no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good, I feel this good, I experience this good. It flows through me and multiplies itself around me. I know this to be true, and so it is, and hallelujah and amen. And there you go. Thank you for giving me the privilege of being here.
Thank you. So when I was fairly new to the teaching, and still sometimes, I would go and listen to a talk or a practice, and my mind would focus on where I had not yet demonstrated or practiced or completed, because my ego mind was focusing on what wasn't yet instead of what was. And I've learned over the years how toxic that is. So if anybody is sitting here saying, well, I listened to this talk and oh my God, I don't do enough, I don't have enough, I'm not enough, leave it here. Leave it here, because first of all, it's not the truth. You're alive today, which means that you've already been practicing these principles in some way, shape, or form. You've already received, you already believe in and feel a connection with the divine, or you wouldn't be alive. So my invitation from today's very long talk and beautiful practice is that you let go of that temptation to think that you haven't practiced enough, haven't done it good enough, blah, 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 because it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
So there. So, and if it's still there, which, you know, it sneaks in. It does for me too. Be sure to reach out to one of us, to each other, to support you. And today, Susan is doing a treatment for anyone who needs it, for a treatment express. So grab her. And I bet if you go to Lori, she doesn't know how to say no to treatment, because she will treat as well, and so will I. Because really my hope for you is that you leave here today knowing that you are more than enough, and that you have more than enough, and that you do more than enough. So we are here to support you, and my deepest desire is that you truly receive that, especially when things are tough. So we are now doing our offering for anybody who would like to give back to the place where they feel spiritually nourished. I know there's many different ways. One way is a donation, and there's many ways to do your donation. So we'll pass the basket. If you're not giving today or you're not giving, just bless the basket and know that we are an abundant community. So repeat after me. Divine love consecrates my gift.
Divine love consecrates my gift.
It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless.
It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
As I share my good,
As I share my good,
I accept my greater good.
I accept my greater good.
There is a flyer over here that's created by Centers for Spiritual Living if anybody wants to make a donation for our organization to support anyone affected by the fires. So take a look at that, it's right there. Please get your tickets for our first concert on January 25th with Christine De Leon and Frank and Hank. It's going to be a wonderful evening with some great music. Next Sunday is our community gathering. I'm invited to be present, so come prepared to ask me questions or whatever. Reverend Janice is doing such a great job facilitating that, and our leadership council is doing a beautiful work behind the scenes to make all of this unfold smoothly by the time I leave in March. We have one more discovery class. If anybody says, you know, I'm kind of interested in this teaching, curious about this community, I might want to be a member, there are no expectations. Just come and get a little more education. That's a discovery class on Sunday, January 29th. We're accepting new members in February, so that's going to be fun. And then Kat is doing another sound journey on February 2nd with a snow date of the 16th. Register for that because we can fit only 17 people on these floors. And then Bill is doing another dream interpretation program, and that happens on February 9th. And then my party.
Yay!
So register for that. There is a QR code, there's a Breeze link. If you need help with that and you want to do it differently, just speak to Kathy.
Potluck on the 20, next week?
Yes, next week we have a potluck, even though somebody signed up for it.
Jean Lee.
Jean Lee signed up for it. It's a potluck, so bring a dish to share and Jean will put it all together as she so beautifully does. All right. Again, thank you, Christy, for our social hour today. And now we'll have Susan doing a closing treatment.
So let's find that space again. Let's just sit comfortably in this space, which is support, which is a divine idea. This chair is a divine idea, as is this wonderful celebration that we all experience today. So as we breathe in the knowing that anything that appears is our good expressing, is our opportunity to learn and grow, our opportunity to expand. And the truth that I know is that there is only one, and that one life is omnipresent. Therefore, there is not a spot where it is not. So it is here in my words, it is here in my body, and as it is in my words and my body, it is in all who are present and all seen and unseen in the world and beyond, to infinity and beyond. So I am knowing that this is a blessing and that each one here received exactly the perfect information, the perfect feelings, the perfect thoughts to best serve them, to move from good to a higher good, to move from a feeling of blessing to more blessing, to move forward from gratitude to a deeper gratitude, and to accept this union with self, with each other, and with all, because it is in that knowing, in that union, that seamless union with God, with love, with the thing itself, with that infinite mind, with the peace, with the power. That union means it's all here now. It is in your breath, it is in your smile, it is in your driving the car, it is in the food that you eat, it is everywhere. And each one here accepts that, expands and grows into feeling that truth, that life is one giant blessing as love gives, that it can experience itself here, right here and now. So feel that love. Everyone feels that love. And everyone leaves with that feeling of love that they can help others expand into their awareness of love, into their experience of this amazing thing itself. Each one leaves here with a brighter light and lets that light shine. This is the truth. It's been claimed, it's proclaimed, it's in the law, it's done, it's ever present, and we all say together, and so it is. Namaste, and I just want to announce that this Tuesday at 7 o'clock I'm leading a 15-minute meditation, Blessings for 2025. It's on the CSL Princeton Facebook page, Zoom link if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you for having me again. It's lovely to be here. So, turns out I was really crazy busy before the wedding. So I did not have time to write a song before the wedding until the day of the wedding. And then she didn't get to hear it till the next day, but that's all right.
And this is it?
This is it.
Oh!
And again, this is my second marriage. This is her first marriage, her own marriage.